Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Tiabu, and I'm super sick. I'm actually better, but it's worse. To be clear, I'm on day 3 of being sick. I started out with a sore throat, and then day 2 was more sore throat, and also just not feeling well and having a lot of like pain and a bit of snurfling and some stuff like that. And now it's day 3, and all that's happening is my body is getting rid of shit, and so I was just like blah, blah, blah. It's just bad. So it's super miserable for me, but I'm actually better because my body is no longer fighting the thing off as much. It's just getting it out. I have taken Dayquil, and it hasn't helped enough for me to be able to really record like what I want to record today, which is the Osama ranking video, the next episode. What I'm supposed to be recording on Wednesday, and I can't do it. So I'm going to record a different thing because I can sort of do this and just edit it all together, and it's not like where I'm watching a piece of anime where if I'm coughing or sneezing during that, I'm missing shit. I can just cough and sneeze all I want and then come back to talk to you. So I had a cool idea for a character. Well, maybe a dumb as fuck idea for a character. Who knows? We'll figure. We'll see. Regardless, I'm going to try to build it and see if it's gonna be interesting. So, actually, before I do that, let me just say, if you enjoy these videos and whatever, please like, comment, and subscribe. Talk to me about what you would do with these characters or with these character ideas. Recommend me new character ideas. Give me ideas so that I can have more ideas to build more cool things. Somebody in my Discord today mentioned that they were wondering when I was going to do because I did the unstoppable force build. They mentioned when was I going to do an immovable object build, and I don't fucking know, but I'm thinking about it now, and I want to know how I would do it, so give me character ideas. It's a cool thing. Also, if you really like the content, you can hit me up on the Patreon and throw me a dollar or two, and that's super helpful. Thank you so much. Okay, so the concept for this character is I want to make a character that can make the most attacks. I built a character just a little while ago, and I just edited it, and I've watched through it a couple of times because I forgot to grab all the timestamps to put them in the thing so that it would be chapterized. So I had to watch through it again and again to get all the timestamps and chapterize it and all that shit. So I just watched through it again, and I saw so many ways in that build that I could have made more attacks, and it was like, oh, so many ways to make more attacks. So I want to build a character that can make the most attacks, as many attacks as possible. Now, there's an easy way to do this. The simple way to do this is to get to 20th level in Fighter, and then you get a whole lot of attacks every turn, every round, every time it's your turn in combat. You get to be like, I attack so many dice, and just be a fighter. Technically, I think the best way to do that, if you really want to do that, is to be a samurai fighter, because they get a feature at 15th level called Rapid Strike. Starting at 15th level, you learn to trade accuracy for swift strikes. If you take the attack action on your turn and have advantage on an attack roll against one of the targets, you can forego the advantage for that roll to make an additional weapon attack against that target as part of the same action. So it's like reverse True Strike, where instead of giving up an action to get an advantage, you give up advantage to get 2 attacks. So if you already think you're going to hit, and you have maybe a magic weapon that helps you hit more or whatever, and you have advantage, which you have as a samurai, because you can just bonus action give yourself advantage and temporary hit points. It's part of the subclass. Then you just get more attacks. That's cool. But it's not super consistent. I mean, I guess it's pretty consistent, since you have Fighting Spirit to give yourself advantage, and then you can just use it once every turn. It's pretty cool, but it seems like the easy way to do this. And I want to get more attacks faster, because any character can get up to 17th level and cast a cantrip like Eldritch Blast and deal a bunch of attacks. And any character can play up to 20th level fighter and become a 20th level fighter and get a whole lot of attacks. But not that many characters can be dealing a lot of attacks before level 5. In fact, most characters can't deal more than 3 before level 5. And the ones that can deal 3 before level 5 are pretty limited. Essentially, 2 of them, 2 core characters that can do that, are gated behind feats. One of them would be Crossbow Expert, which gives you 1 attack as a bonus action if you're using a hand crossbow, essentially. Or a light weapon and then a hand crossbow. Or a one-handed weapon and then a hand crossbow, whatever. And that takes a feat. And Polearm Master gives you a bonus action attack with the butt end of your polearm, but that takes a feat, and each one only gives you 1 attack. Then there's the Monk, who can make a bonus action attack if they make an unarmed strike or an attack with a simple or monk weapon. A monk weapon, which counts as a simple weapon, and simple weapons count as monk weapons. Also quarterstaffs and short swords. then you can make a bonus action attack if you're a monk. So that's pretty cool. That's a way to do it. And that bonus action attack is free. And then when you get higher in monk levels, level 2, essentially, you can make 2 attacks with that bonus action if you burn a limited resource, a key point, in order to do so. And that's pretty cool. So a monk at level 2 can make 3 attacks. And that's about as good as it gets. There aren't that many other classes that can make 3 attacks at level 2. In fact, I can't think of any. If there are, then sue me. I think there are some classes that have features where they could get like a companion that might be able to make an attack. I mean, Circle of Stars Druid can make a bonus action attack with their starry form, shoot a bolt at somebody, and they could technically shoot them with a cantrip at the same turn. That's 2 attacks. Even a Sorlock can't quicken Eldritch Blast and then Eldritch Blast for more than 2 attacks because they're a Sorlock. They could do it with Firebolt. They could shoot 2 Firebolts in a turn. So that's 2 attacks. 2d10 attacks, even. That's pretty cool. There just aren't that many classes that can do that many attacks that soon. So Monk is pretty cool because it immediately puts 2 attacks, boom, boom, online, and then 3 attacks if you burn a limited resource. So that's cool. That's definitely something to look at. And then there are 2-weapon fighters who can make 1 attack and then a bonus action attack and max out at 2 attacks. It's all that they can do. Now, I want to be clear that I'm not building this character to take advantage of those multiple attacks, per se. For example, most of the time, you want to take multiple attacks because you're using some kind of additional rider effect, like Hex, for example, or maybe Blood Hunter, Fire, Thunder, Cold, whatever it is, magic stuff. Or something else that adds damage on it every hit, or Circle of Spores Druid, extra necrotic damage on every hit. Most of the time when we're dealing lots of attacks, we're doing it for an optimization purpose, and that optimization purpose is to add on-hit modifiers to every single one of our attacks. I'm not necessarily going to build this character that way, and that's dumb. I know, we could deal a lot more damage if we were doing that, but instead, I'm going to just build toward the optimization problem of trying to get as many attacks as soon as possible in a way that scales as well as possible into the late game. Which is crazy and silly and stupid, but why not? It seems like fun. And I want to see when we can come online with, like, way more than normal attacks, right? I want to beat out every other character at level 5 and 6, for sure. Maybe let's say level 6, because that gives us maybe some more room for some multi-classing shenanigans. But I want to beat out every character at level 5 with our number of attacks in at least one round, if we can do that many or more, or maybe one less, but still consistently on future rounds, and our Nova round is just a little bit worse, then that's pretty cool, and I'm down for that too. The one thing that I don't think we can beat at level 5, unless we are also doing it by level 5, is having Action Surge and also having multi-attack, having extra attack and Action Surge. So a level 5 fighter who has a weaponized bonus action and has Action Surge and has extra attack makes 5 attacks that round, because they make 2 attacks, they Action Surge, they make 2 attacks, they bonus action, make another attack. They can only do this if they are Crossbow Expert or if they are Polearm Master because of that weaponized bonus action. But any fighter at level 5 can, once per short rest, make 4 attacks. It would be nice if we could beat that or have Action Surge at this point. I don't know if we'll be able to do that. I'm tempted to do manual rolled, obviously, because maybe we'll get enough scores to make this work in a beautiful, wonderful, lovely way, but I can't in good faith. I want to build this character to ensure that they are point buy viable, and so that's what I'm going to do. We might end up really fucked. We might end up in a bad place, y'all. I think we need at least a 13 strength, a 13 dexterity, and a 13 wisdom, which is rough. That's some rough stuff. But it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I believe it's okay. Oh boy. I would love for that to be a 15 strength and just a 13 dex. Let me just make sure that this works the way that I think it does. Wait, what? Right, we could start in any class regardless of our stats, but we can't multi-class into or out of it unless we have the prereqs. Cool. So we would love to have this be a 14 in dex. Oh boy. Okay, we can get a 10 con. Or we could get up to a 13 con even. Oh, it's so hard. Level 1 is so hard. Ugh. I hate this. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Are there any races that get us closer to our goal? I don't think so. I mean, we're stat hungry, so being a mountain dwarf. And I'm not going to need a feat, I don't think. I'm tempted by just being a mountain dwarf. It's real good. Really, the only thing that would grant us an additional attack would be custom lineage or variant human, getting polearm master or crossbow expert, of course. I always like being a goblin when I'm being a character like this. You'll see later why, but just thematically, I really like it. But I also really like disengage or hide as a bonus action. It's just cool. And then Fury of the Small is just once per short or long rest, you can add extra damage equal to your level when you hit, which is really nice. It's actually very solid burst. But I think there's only one real option for us right now, and it's probably the Mountain Dwarf. Dwarven combat training. You have proficiency with the battle axe, hand axe, light hammer, and war hammer. It doesn't really matter. Proficiency with light and medium armor is also really nice. And we would get +2 strength and +2 constitution. With those stats, maybe we drop our strength to 14 and to start it at a 16, and then bump our con by 1. It's the same cost, right? And then we start with 2 16s. It would be nice to start with 17 and 15 too, but we'd be healthier. And then it wouldn't hurt as much to start Barbarian, because we would still get 15 armor class starting, and we could use a shield. No, we're just going to not weaponize our bonus action until level 6 and go back to having a better strength score. We can round these out at our first ASI. Oh, that'll be so late, actually. No, we'll take the better starting level. Why not? I'm going to take the better starting level. So I'm actually going to start with a 14, 14, 14, 8, 13, 9. I'm going to start Mountain Dwarf, and I'm not going to start Fighter at all, even though it would be just as good or better to do so. We're going to start Barbarian. Boom. So we get light armor, medium armor, shield, simple weapons, martial weapons, strength and constitution saving throws. It's almost exactly the same. We just don't get heavy armor, and we don't care because we get rage, and we don't have to have heavy armor because we get resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. And in addition, when we make a melee weapon attack using strength, we gain a bonus to the damage roll that increases as we gain levels as a barbarian. So even though we're not planning on adding a lot of on-hit effects to our attack rolls, we do at level 1 start with one, and it's a pretty good one. It gives us a flat +2 to all of our attack rolls as long as we use strength for the attack roll, and it's in melee, and it scales once we go up in barbarian. Eventually it scales kind of late and kind of slowly, but that's kind of okay with us because it's still really good. So we get DAT, and we get unarmored defense. When you are not wearing any armor, your armor equals 10 plus your dexterity modifier plus your constitution modifier. For us, that is currently 15. And we can use a shield and still gain this benefit, but we don't start with one. So it might be worth it for us to starting gold anyway, but we can stick with our unarmored defense. We won't have enough starting gold for sure to get ourselves scale mail, because scale mail is expensive, and we only get 2d4 times 10 gold. But that's okay with us. I think I really like the far traveler background. Nah, I mean, our wisdom is good. If we could get, I don't know, some dex-based skills or some wisdom-based skills or just athletics perception from Sailor, that would work, but that's not really thematic. Far Traveler does start with a... I thought they started with a quarterstaff. They don't. Ooh, I just had an idea. I actually like this. I think I'm going to go folk hero. We come from a humble social rank, but are destined for so much more. Already the people of our home village regard you as their champion, and your destiny calls you to stand against the tyrants and monsters that threaten the common folk everywhere. I like this as our starting background, actually. We fit in amongst the common folk with ease. We can find a place to hide, rest, or recuperate among other commoners, unless we've shown ourselves to be a danger to them. And we just might do exactly that. Sorry, common folk. But we'll see. We get a tool proficiency, an artisan's tool. I would choose a dwarfy one, like mason's tools. Also, we get one from our race, right? So we'll grab smith's tool. So we can do stonework and we can do armor work, and that's cool for us. Also maybe implies why we'll have those armor proficiencies, which is nice. Okay, and then from our actual class, let's grab athletics because it's useful if you're strength based, and perception because we like being able to see things. And we have the wisdom to help it a little bit, and that's good. I think we're going to go into combat with a shield. At this point, we're going to. So instead of taking the starting equipment, I will. I'm gonna say you can't normally do this, but I'm gonna take the folk hero starting equipment because why not, right? It just gives me the smith's tools that I want. So I'm a folk hero because I'm a bit of a blacksmith. I'm a bit of a blacksmith working in small towns. Probably though, we are a dwarf. So here's the deal. Here's my idea for this character. We are a dwarf who doesn't fit in dwarven society super well. So we've gone off and left the mountain that we came from fairly young for a dwarf, probably in our teens when we were out, looking for something else to do. And we've been hopping around from small town to small town, just making a trade, being a good blacksmith and a better blacksmith than usually they have in town. Now, that probably earns us some ire from the town's blacksmith, but we also do some heroic deeds in those towns, feats of strength, cleaning up monsters and little problems, helping out around the town as much as we can. But eventually, an aspect of our character gets in our way. Eventually, after a few days or maybe a few weeks of staying in one place, in one town, and becoming kind of a hero amongst these people, something sets us off and we go into a fucking rage and we break something. And maybe the townspeople will forgive us. Maybe they don't. Maybe we don't hurt anybody. Hopefully we don't. Maybe we do, and that's a big problem. But either way, we feel really guilty about that occurrence. And so we pack up our things and we move on to the next town where we haven't been heard of. And we set up shop a little bit as a blacksmith, becoming a little bit sadder on the inside as we make these new friends and are sure that we're going to fuck it up somehow. And this will affect us as we move into our adventuring party and meet new friends, and we are sure that we are going to be the ones who fuck it up somehow. So our character is a bit anxious, probably, and a bit has some issues with attachment and with connection and with commitment, probably. And those can all play into the way that we play this character, and I think that's really interesting. But it will also play into the way that our class features build into us, so I think that's cool. I think that this, as a background and as a description, also gives us a perfect hook for any dungeon master to be like, well, you arrive in a new town and you decide to go to the tavern and have a drink because you've been on the road for a while and you meet these other people, yippee-ki-yay, right? It's like, okay, I'm in, right? I'm there. That's perfect. We are going to then gold buy. Randomize. Oh, it's 6. Okay, that's great. We got 60 gold, dude. Sick. I'm still not going to buy that much crazy stuff here at this level. I would love to get just a simple, it'd be nice to have a D8 weapon, right? But like a one-handed one. We can have a warhammer, right? We're proficient. It is only 15 gold. It's a D8. It's not a simple weapon, but it is a warhammer. Probably that's a good idea. Yeah, that's probably our best starting item at this level. Great. Of course, it's versatile. We can dual wield it. That's 15 gold. Down 10, 55. And then we can get ourselves a shield. That's really all we care about at the moment. Boom. Probably a little iron shield that we've made, or a big iron shield, up to you. 45. Great. We've got plenty of other gold. Honestly, all we needed was 25 gold, so probably we get that on the D10 rolls no matter what. You have to be one. You just can't roll 2 ones. Or on the D4 rolls, D4 times 10. And that's, I think, all I'm going to buy. So I think it's fair that we managed to get the common clothes, the iron pot, and the shovel, and the smith's tools, and all that stuff as well. But I don't really care about it that much. It just doesn't matter to me. Cool. So that's our level 1. We are a mountain dwarf. We are a barbarian. We have a 16 strength, a 14 dexterity, 16 constitution, 8 intelligence, 13 wisdom, and 9 charisma. We are a folk hero who travels around a bunch, and some people regard us as our champion, and some people, after we've left, regard us with maybe a little bit of ire. But for the most part, we're remembered for the good things that we do, hopefully. And that's what we hope, at least. And we can move on to look at our character sheet and do a level 1 little combat report. So, our level 1 is simple, and we are not fulfilling the fantasy of making a billion jillion attacks at level 1 yet. In fact, we won't be there for a little while, but that's okay. Where's my pen? Yeah, here's another one. Okay. So, we have our stats, we have our scores, we have a bunch of hit points, we have a 17 armor class, which is seriously respectable at this level. We deal 1d8 plus 3. We have no real ways to add to that except for our rage, which deals plus 2. Our total average, if we hit damage, which we might or we might not at this level, is 4.5 plus 5, so 9.5. Yeah, it's respectable. We can contribute effectively to fighting things in our first combats, which makes sense for us as a character. We're strong, and we get angry, and stuff really has a hard time killing us. We're not going to be exactly a tank with this character, not really, but we will be very tanky, so cool. We are slow, which sucks, but we absolutely fulfill the fantasy of being a sturdy, hardy dwarf who has armor and a hammer and a shield, and we hit things, and that's good enough for us at level 1. It's all we could really hope for. We're not that special. Pretty straightforward at this level. But we have a dark secret, and we'll get there soon. Okay. That's our level 1 combat report. 9.5 damage. Damage. We can also grapple if we'd like to. It might be a better use of our action because we have advantage on the check because we are raging. If you have enough damage dealers in your party, this is absolutely the way to go. Go ahead and grapple up on your actions and just hold things in place and let your friends kill them while they're forced to kill you because they probably only have melee attacks and then they'll attack you and they probably won't hit you with a 17 armor class. And if they do, you take half damage, and then that's better than your friends taking that damage because your wizard taking an attack from a giant rat is bad, and you taking an attack from a giant rat probably doesn't matter. Cool. We're doing great. We're doing fine. We're a big, strong buff dwarf man or woman. You could be a female dwarf who's doing all this stuff. That's actually kind of cool. We're a big, strong buff dwarf lady. For sure. For sure. It actually fits the character concept so well. Big, strong, buff dwarf lady who, God, just gets so mad about stuff sometimes and maybe breaks things and fucks it up and just has to leave. I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here now. Cool. I like it. All right, let's move on toward level 3. First off, we go to level 2 in Barbarian. You could multiclass at this point instead, but I think we go to level 2 in Barbarian. We can take Reckless Attack. We can throw aside all concern for defense to attack with Fierce Desperation. Very fitting, very thematic. When we make our first attack, we can decide to attack recklessly. If we do so, we have advantage on melee attack rolls using strength during this turn, but attack rolls against us have advantage until our next turn. So for a while, and that's bad. This is sort of a tanking feature. It does encourage enemies to attack you, and that's really good. This is a core tanking feature of the Barbarian class, and it's good enough for our purposes. We're not going to go that much further in Barbarian or pick up one of the subclasses that gives us a real hardcore tanking feature, Ancestral Guardians. But this is good. This is solid reckless attack. We get to do this, and it's good. Nice. Okay. We also get danger sense. We have an uncanny sense of when things nearby aren't as they should be. We have advantage on dex saves against effects that we can see, such as traps and spells. We can't be blinded, deafened, or incapacitated for this to work, but it's still very helpful. Lots of explodey things that we don't gain resistance to are dex saves that we can see, and so we have advantage against them, which makes our ability to survive them even better. We also have 10 more average hit points, which is a lot. Cool. Let's head to level 3, and then we'll get to combat, because it changes. Level 3. Level 3. Level 3. Our primal path. Bum, 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 bum. So by this point in our character's career, we've probably fell in with a group of ne'er-do-wells, or perhaps, as many tables do, we might be starting at level 3. And if so, our character works just as well from level 3 as a concept, because now, when we rage, we experience a transformation. We become bestial. Our body becomes different. Specifically, our hands become claws. And as you may have guessed, we are going with the path of the beast barbarian. Our character's destructive impulses. Maybe we've been just able to keep this a secret from now. That's how I think I would style it. If I was playing with other characters, I would have my character leave in the middle of the night and try to sneak away. And assuming that I had a rage left for the day, I would leave in the middle of the night and sneak away and just be like, I'm going to go and then maybe talk to my DM about it and be like, I'm going to go during the middle of this night. I'm going to go to a tavern and I'm going to get drunk. And I'm probably going to get extremely angry and I'm going to fuck somebody up. And some people at that tavern might notice that one of my hands turned like my fingers were longer and clawed or something. And that news might get back to our party and they might grill us about it coming around level 3 if our party plays that way, which would be cool if they did. But we would have this as a secret until now. And then maybe we would come out about it for some reason. Maybe we've formed enough trust with this party over the last couple of levels. I mean, we spent all of our time not leveling up past 1 until now. But maybe we formed enough trust with them that we're willing to show them what we become. And we're probably surprised and overjoyed when our character is accepted by the party because it's useful. Even if it's hard to control, it's super useful. And technically, there's nothing in the feature that's actually hard to control. It's flavor. We're still in full control of ourselves. Regardless, we will take the form of the beast. 3rd level Path of the Beast feature. When you enter your rage, you can transform, revealing the bestial power within you. Until the rage ends, you can manifest a natural weapon. It counts as a simple melee weapon for you. This should be important. And you add your strength modifier to the attack and damage rolls when you attack with it as normal. You choose the weapon's form each time you rage. Either a bite, it turns into a bestial muzzle, or great mandibles, and it deals 1d8 piercing damage, and you can sometimes regain hit points if you have less than a lot of your health. Cool. Tail, which is the last option, you grow a lashing, spiny tail, which is also a d8, and has reach, and if somebody within 10 feet of you hits you with an attack, you can swipe with add a d8 and add the bonus to your AC, maybe making the attack miss you, which is cool. We are doing neither of these. Instead, we are taking the claws, because I like claws. Claws. Each of your hands transforms into a claw, which you can use as a weapon if it's empty. Use as a weapon if it's empty. And it counts as a natural weapon, which counts as a simple melee weapon for you. Okay. It deals 1d6 slashing damage on a hit. Not bad, worse than our hammer, but once on each of your turns, when you attack with a claw using the attack action, you can make 1 additional claw attack as part of the same action. Nice. Unfortunately, this does say once on each of your turns, which means we can't action surge and then make it happen again, but every turn, we get an extra attack with our claw. And it doesn't specify that we make an additional claw with the other hand or that we need a hand free, so we can keep using our shield. And we just have 2 attacks at level 3. //. Now, technically, we could take the dual wielder feat, and then neither of our simple weapons that we're using in each of our hands that are simple is light, but with dual wielder, we could use 2-weapon fighting with them, and then we could make attack, and we'd be at 3 attacks right now. And that's pretty cool. I don't know if we're going to do that, though. I think there might be better ways to achieve what we want to achieve, and I think we might be able to achieve them all while retaining our shield, which would be so cool, because those 2 AC really make a difference for us. Regardless, we will always choose the claw option for this character. So let's do a level 3 report. First off, we're going to unequip our Warhammer because we will never use it again. Now that we have accepted ourselves and our beast form, we are going to use our form of the beast claws. And I'm going to get rid of the bite and the tail. I'm going to keep unarmed strike for some reasons. Now, we bonus action rage. We go into combat. We transform into our form of the beast claws. And then we take the attack action. We deal 1d6 plus 5 because we are raging, slashing damage. And we can go reckless, so we can get advantage on these attacks sort of for free, and that's super nice. But we deal 1d6 plus 5, and then we can make an additional claw attack as part of the same action. No other action expenditure, nothing. It just happens on the turn. So we deal another 1d6 plus 5. So our total damage is 17. Yep. 3.5, 3.5, 5, 5. 10, 7, 17. //, and we can do that every turn for a minute as long as we're raging. //. At level 3, this is really good. It's really good. It's really good. Compared to this, a Polearm Master Zealot Barbarian is dealing 1d10 plus 5, let's say, plus 1d6 plus 1, plus 1d4 plus 5, let's say. Any non-zealot barbarian is dealing almost exactly the same damage. They're dealing 18. It's 5.5 from the d10, and then 2.5 from the d4 from their 2 attacks, plus 10 from the 5 and the 5. But then, of course, a zealot, which is the most that you, I think, can do, is dealing another d6 plus 1, so 4.5 extra on top of that, so 22.5. So we don't equal the zealot barbarian, but we're also not using our bonus action every turn for an attack. Yet. This is pretty good. This is pretty good. We have 2 attacks, and they're pretty good. Okay. We are not going any further into Beast Barbarian. The fastest way for us to pick up more attacks consistently would be to go to Barbarian level 5, and then every time we take the attack action, we make 2 attacks with our attack action, and then we get an additional claw attack as part of the attack action. No additional expenditure of resources. Cool. We have 2 options. Either we can weaponize our bonus action, which we could do by going 4 and then grabbing Polearm Master, but then we would take the attack action, and we wouldn't be attacking with our polearm, so we actually couldn't do that, so that sucks for us. Or we could get more attacks by simply grabbing 2 in Fighter now and getting Action Surge. And then it would be only on Nova when we Action Surge that we could get 1 more attack because our Beast Extra Claw doesn't apply more than once per turn. So, what I think we're going to do is weaponize our bonus action. Now, there is a way technically to do this in Fighter, I think. But it's limited. We would have to take Fighting Style Superior Technique, and then we gain 1 Battle Master Maneuver, and I can't see them. So I'm just going to go to 3 in Battle Master. I'm not actually doing this. But I think we would take Battle Master and then grab Quick Toss is the only option. As a bonus action, you can expend 1 superiority die and make a ranged attack with a weapon that has the thrown property. You can draw the weapon as part of making the attack. If you hit, you add the superiority die to the weapon's damage roll. So we couldn't attack the same creature we were clawing, but we could make this attack before we started attacking a creature, but we couldn't add our rage damage to it because it's a thrown weapon, because it's a ranged attack with a thrown weapon. None of it is good. It would be cool. We could get it from one level in Fighter, and then we could do it once per short rest. No. No, I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to grab a level in Monk. And once again, I am multi-classing. I am multi-classing 2 classes that should never be multi-classed together. But I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to grab 1 level in Monk. Ding. And what this gives us is martial arts, primarily. We don't get the unarmored defense because there's an errata that says you just get the one you get first, and that's okay because our con is better than our wisdom, so this is fine. At first level, your practice of martial arts gives you mastery of combat styles that use unarmed strikes and monk weapons, which are short swords and any simple melee weapons that don't have the two-handed or heavy property. Our claws are, once again, simple melee weapons that are not two-handed nor heavy. In fact, they're explicitly one-handed, and they're empty. So even if your TM is mean and they're like, that's not a monk weapon, it's a claw, it's like an unarmed strike. You're like, yeah, but I'm making unarmed strikes, sort of, but they're claws. Right? DM? Yes, absolutely right. There's no reason you can't do this. You gain some benefits while you are unarmed or wielding only monk weapons, and you aren't wearing armor or a shield. So, this is unfortunate. You can use dexterity instead of strength for the attack and damage rolls of your... And yeah, this requires us to not use the shield. Shit, we're gonna lose our shield. No! I didn't think this was the case. I thought it was only the other thing. We really can't use martial arts at all when we have a shield? Oh, it's so annoying. Okay, you can use dexterity instead of strength for the attack and damage rolls of your unarmed strikes and monk weapons. We will not. You can roll a d4 and place the normal damage of your unarmed strike or monk weapon. This die changes as you gain monk levels. When you use the attack action with an unarmed strike or monk weapon on your turn, you can make 1 unarmed strike as a bonus action. Okay, so we ditch our shield. Sad day, sad day. If your DM lets you use a shield, buy them Doritos. Don't buy them Doritos. Doritos are shitty chips. Buy them better chips. Buy them Terra sweet potato chips. Buy them something good. Bring them snacks for DMing. But you probably can't because it's explicit in the writing. You gain the following benefits when you aren't wearing armor or wielding a shield. Sad. So sad. Maybe later you can pick up bracers of defense or something, but whatever. So it's good that I didn't start fighter and rely on wearing medium armor because then that would totally trounce this build later. So, whoo, dodged a bullet. Didn't know that I dodged the bullet, but I dodged a bullet. Okay. Regardless, at this level, we weaponize our bonus action. So every time that we take our attack action with a simple weapon with which we are proficient, our claws, which counts as a monk weapon because it's a simple weapon. Any simple weapons that don't have the two-handed or heavy property are monk weapons, including claws, which is what we're going to do. We make one attack with our attack action. We get a free additional attack as part of our attack action from Beast Barbarian. And then we make a bonus action unarmed strike with our offhand, and we're no longer wielding a shield. Technically, it's an unarmed strike, not a claw attack. So it only deals a d4, not a d6, which sucks. But it's not that bad. If you can convince your DM that you're making an unarmed strike, but you're making it with a claw, why can't it deal one average more damage, then your DM is nice and you should buy them cookies or something. You probably can't. So at this point, we would be doing 3 attacks, but I don't do damage calcs at level 4, so we'll just keep going. Cool. Still, we would get 1d4 plus 5 additional damage, and that's pretty good. 1d4 plus 5 additional damage is not nothing. It's 7.5 additional damage, and that's great add-on to our round. It takes us to 24.5 total damage, which is more than the 3rd level Zealot Barbarian was doing. However, the Zealot Barbarian at level 4 might bump their strengths. They might get +1 damage to each of their attacks, right? Their Polearm Master first attack and their Polearm Master second attack. So they would get +2 extra damage, so they would be at exactly the same 24.5. So we're competitive. We're solidly competitive now. That's cool. That's quite nice. Okay. I do think, for our purposes, just cuz, I think I am going to go Monk 2. And the reason is so that we can, well, we're no longer wearing armor or wielding a shield, so we gain 10 feet of additional movement, and that's really cool, as well as 2 key points. So 2 rounds now, we can use Flurry of Blows. Immediately after you take the attack action on your turn, you can spend 1 key point to make 2 unarmed strikes as a bonus action. So twice per day, twice per short rest, which is great, we can make 2 attacks as a bonus action. So our damage, if we're burning resources, goes up once more by 7.5 to 21, 32. And now at level 5, our Zealot Barbarian friend has made their extra attack now. So they are dealing another 5.5 plus now 4 for them, because we assume they upgraded their strength. So they're dealing 9.5 extra damage, taking them to 34. So they're dealing 2 more damage than us. But we're not building for max damage, we're building for max attacks. Right? Right? Yeah. Oh, it would be 5.5 plus 6. I'm sorry. So they're actually dealing 36 damage. So it's 4 more damage than us. So they're a little bit ahead. Now we also don't have the benefit of being like, haha, you used your bonus action and I didn't, because now we've weaponized our bonus action. And we've weaponized it pretty effectively, about as effectively as we're ever going to. Because I don't think we're going further into Monk. Again, we could go into Monk, we could get extra attack. Let me make sure there aren't any Monk traditions at 3 that give us some other way of getting more attacks. I don't think there are. I mean, Deflect Missiles gives us a way to get a reaction attack, which is cool, and it also just increases our survivability as a barbarian. Just using our reaction to catch missiles is so sick. I really like it. Long Death would be cool for Touch of Death, just getting us more hit points, just a bunch of temp hit points whenever we kill stuff, which should happen frequently. But No, it's not worth the level. It would give us another key point and another use of Flurry of Blows. If you like deflect missiles and all this stuff, do this. Just do this. It's fine. But we're not going to do it. Cause 2. Boom. Because at this point for our level 6 damage report, we are going to, I think, go fighter. Now, hold on. There is one other thing that we could do. Do we have the levels to do it and still get 11 in fighter? I think we do. But it's not sustainable. Oh, it is sustainable. Okay, there's a way to get another attack that is sustainable, and I think we have to do it. And I don't think it doesn't even stave off our fighter levels too much. To the point where I think I want to do it before even taking fighter levels. It's so crazy to do that. It's so crazy because we want action surge. Also, we're still behind an action surging polearm master fighter pretty significantly in damage. There's just no way. And that's totally okay. But we are still dealing 4 attacks on our quote unquote Nova rounds because we attack, and then bonus action, key point, attack. So that's cool. That's actually really cool. Yeah, I think I'm going to hold off on the fighter levels because we don't need them. There's another class feature, and it happens early in a class, and it's actually super worth getting. So, we're going to take levels in another class that requires our dexterity and wisdom and is only available to us because of this way we're building this weird character. We're going to go Ranger. We're going to go Ranger 1 for our level here. And, well, we can't concentrate while we're raging. If your DM lets you have the extra D4 from Favored Foe, your DM is nice. Otherwise, I don't think that's going to happen. We will take the Tasha's features, optional class features, and customize your origin. We will take the optional feature for Deft Explorer, but I think honestly we should take Favored Enemy. Even though Favored Foe is probably better, we should take Favored Enemy because it actually gives us some benefit, and we have survival proficiency. Favored Enemy or Favored Foe just doesn't give us a benefit because we plan to be raging. And we can't concentrate on Favored Foe while we're raging, which sucks. But that's totally okay. Choose whatever you'd like for favored enemies. I'm going to choose Undead because usually you'll see them in a campaign at some point. And maybe we know Abyssal because that's where Orcus lives, and we hate Orcus. Maybe for this character we choose Beasts instead because it's a lot of creatures. And that would make sense for us. Or giants, maybe we knew them when we were, and we hate them because we're dwarves. Whatever the fuck you want. Choose whatever you want. It's not going to really affect our character because we won't go far enough in Ranger to get class features that really scale off of it, even though they don't scale that well off of it. Or you could choose humanoids, dwarves, whatever you want. I'm going to choose undead and abyssal. Neat. Not really going to affect me. Proficiencies, we get 1 additional proficiency. We're going to grab stealth because being a stealthy beastie barbarian is terrifying. And if we can get surprise as a stealthy beastie barbarian, we can deal a lot of surprise attacks, which is cool. We also get Deft Explorer, so we get 2 more languages. I don't know, Undercommon and Giant. Neat. And we get an expertise. We're going to put it in athletics. Our grappling is way better now. If we want to, we are now an expert grappler, and we're about as good as we could be. Good at it as we could be. Nice. So this is our level 6. We are 3 classes now, and we're going to be more. Oh boy. And yet, I think we deal pretty respectable damage. We don't gain any damage from being a 1 in Ranger, which kind of sucks, but it's okay. It's fine. So, finally, we get to do this damage report. We get to bonus action rage and then make our claw attacks, and that's not our bigger round because we don't have our bonus action. On the next turn is our big round. And we get to make a claws attack with our Form of the Beast claws. And then we get another one as part of the attack action with our Form of the Beast claws. And then we get to bonus action use Flurry of Blows, burn a key point, we only have 2, and do 2 unarmed strikes, both using our strength modifier to hit and for damage. So that's pretty cool. Our total damage is 2d6 plus 2d4. I think it's still the 32 that I put down before, plus 2d4, and then each one of those is plus 5, so it's plus 10 and plus 10. 20 plus 7 plus 5 is, yes, I am correct, it is 32. So if everything hits, and it might because we can go reckless, and we probably should on most turns, if everything hits, we deal about 32 damage. That's awesome. That's great. Is it better than other things at this level? No. Also, we're no longer slow because we're a dwarf. We have 10 feet of extra movement from being a monk and getting monk speed because we're no longer wearing armor, and that's super nice. That's wonderful. Good for us. Okay. That's our damage. That's our combat. We're still very healthy. We have 60 hit points at level 6, 10 per level, essentially, and that's awesome. We're going to continue on in Ranger until Ranger level 3, so let us do that, and we'll head up toward level 9, where we'll do our optimization and our combat report again, because it will change at Ranger level 3. Level 2. Well, level 7, but whatever. We get a fighting style. It doesn't actually matter to me which one you want to choose here, but you should take something that actually has an effect on you. Defense, for example, doesn't, because you're not wearing armor or using a shield, which sucks. I think technically dueling could count. It's hard to say because you're not wielding another melee weapon, right? Right? I mean, you're never using your left hand's claw. Maybe you only have one claw. You could argue it with your DM. I don't think it works. I think I think the Beast Barbarian specifically says each of your hands turns into a claw. Each of your hands transforms into a claw. Damn it. God damn it, Beast Barbarian. Why you gotta be so good? It's so good. We could take 2-weapon fighting and then the dual wielding fighting style and just weaponize our bonus action that way with no expenditure. But we still get a 1d4 unarmed strike, and that's good enough for us, and that's free. Our total sustainable damage only goes down by 7.5 if we're not using key points, which is pretty fucking good. Still in the high 20s, which is great. I think for our purposes, the only thing worth taking here really is taking blind fighting. I guess you could take Druidic Warrior and get a couple of cool cantrips, but you can't cast them while raging, so it kind of sucks. You could get Mending and use that in between stuff, and Guidance to be more helpful out of combat. If you want to, I think that's a reasonable move. I'm going to take blind fighting. It doesn't really help us that much, but it helps us a little bit. You have blind sight within a range of 10 feet and can effectively see anything within that radius. Now, if we have a Hexblade, we can go and party in their magical darkness and deal a damage party. It's great. Okay, we get spellcasting, which we also can't use while raging, so we should pick up utility options. Probably grab Goodberry, and then you can just Barbarian and get some hit points back. It's kind of cool. Probably grab Longstrider, just cast it on yourself and be faster. I don't see anything else that's terribly useful for us. Everything else is concentration or whatever, or we would do it while raging. Absorb elements would be while raging, probably, and none of those things are good. Probably Longstrider or Jump. Jump distance tripled can help us deal with flying enemies, which are a huge problem for our character. I think if we get another spell at Ranger level 3, which I'm going to build toward, then grab Jump. Okay, cool. We get that, and that's all we get at this level. The fighting style and the spellcasting, they're nice ribbons. They're not amazing, but they are nice ribbons. At level 3, however, we get 2 options that give us an additional attack. So the one I was thinking about before that I was like, oh, but it's not sustainable, is, of course, the Gloomstalker. Just like our one-shot, one-kill build, the Gloomstalker gives us Dread Ambusher. At the start of your first turn of each combat, your walking speed increases by 10 feet, which is awesome. And if you take the attack action, you can make 1 additional weapon attack as part of that action. No expenditure of resources, it just happens. You can just do it. But it's only on that first turn of combat. Now, we could make this character so that's all that matters for us. We already have stealth proficiency. It would be cool. Invisibility and darkness, all these things are nice. Whatever. It's not sustainable. Not in the way that I want it to be. Then, of course, there's Beastmaster, and you could technically say that this counts, that your beast is doing it, but we would have to sacrifice an attack to make our beast make an attack. At later levels, the beast can make 2 attacks sometimes, and that's cool, and maybe more once it gets to really high levels, because it's some, number of Beastmaster Ranger levels, but we're not going to go that high level, and it's not really our attack, and we'd have to sacrifice 1 or sacrifice a bonus action, which could be 2, and so it's not worth it. No, no, no. We're going with the basic ranger. We're going with the hunter. We get, of course, primeval awareness. Take this or take primal awareness. It's a little more useful. Colossus Slayer gives us an extra d8. Giant Killer lets us use an attack as a reaction if something hits us, if it's big, which is cool. Dodge out of the way and attack it back. But only one of these gives us a consistent, situational, additional attack, and it is Horde Breaker. Once on each of your turns when you make a weapon attack, you can make another attack with the same weapon against a different creature that is within 5 feet of the original target and within range of your weapon. So this will only happen when there are two creatures right next to each other and within range of us. But we can move to make that happen. Sometimes. In the situation when it does happen, and we went 3 levels in Ranger for this, so it better be fucking worth it. Make it worth it. We get another attack. A full attack with a weapon. Which means with a claw, which means a d6 plus 5. And so we'll calc it in, even though it's situational, it's still another 8.5 damage, right? 3.5 plus 5, yes. Which takes us to 40.5. Nice. At level 8, probably the Zealot Barbarian adds +1 to its strength and goes up by 3 damage again or something. And maybe they get extra things at 8. I don't think so. I think it's 9 when they get their rage damage increase. So that's real late. What are the defensive tactics features? Just to make sure that I don't want to go more in Ranger. No, they're all defensive. And then the 11th level features do give us multi-attack, but what are they? Right. Whirlwind attack, you can use your action to make a melee attack against any number of creatures within 5 feet of you with a separate attack roll for each target. Let me be clear here. With the additional extra attack from Hunter, we'd be using all of our attacks on different creatures, right? You make 1 against each creature. We already make 1 to Hunter, 3, 4. 1 to Hunter is 3, 4, 5 from Monk. We already make 5. So there would have to be 5 or more creatures around us for it to be worth it for us to do that. Of course, we would have extra attack by that point, but we could get it from somewhere else and it would be better. So it's not worth going further into Ranger. We're going to stay at 3 levels into Hunter Ranger, and we do get another prep spell, so we are going to grab Jump, because again, it's an action. It only lasts a minute, so we cast it on ourselves before raging, hopefully, and it's really useful if we're fighting flying things, because we can triple our jump distance, which is awesome, and technically, we could bonus action Step of the Wind to double or triple our jump distance again. Your jump distance is doubled for a turn, and I think those are multiplicative, so our jump distance is tripled, and then it's sextupled. It's times 6. I think. Even if it's not, it's still a lot. So that's awesome. And then if flying things are like, it's 50 feet above you in the air, and you're like, okay, woof. Or try to just grab onto it and grapple it, which you can do. Awesome. We are still only level 8. So while we could go 4 into Ranger and just get our +1 and still get 11 and something else, and that would be nice, we're not going to. We're going to take our 4th multi-class. Sorry, everybody. Finally, we have to do it. There's only one other thing that we absolutely have to do, and we have to go level 1 in Fighter. We get another fighting style. I think we could, again, take Superior Technique and get a single maneuver that would maybe do something cool for us, but I think we take Unarmed Fighting. We're already counting 2 unarmed strikes. Now, here's the issue. Your unarmed strikes can deal bludgeoning damage equal to 1d6 plus your strength modifier on a hit. If you aren't wielding any weapons or a shield when you make the attack roll, the d6 becomes a d8. At minimum, this bumps our unarmed strikes to the same damage as our claws, which is good on its own. But if you can argue that you're not wielding any weapons because your hands are empty, right? Then your unarmed strike should be a d8. And then you would still probably make your claw attacks with your action, but then you could make d8 attacks with your bonus action. That would be cool. I think it requires a DM ruling. At the very least, this bumps our unarmed strikes D4s to D6s, and that's as far as I'm going to go with it. If you get really crazy with it and you're a good debater, maybe you can argue that even your claws damage should be upgraded, and your claws should deal D8s as well, because they're technically kind of unarmed strikes too. I don't think that's going to work, but eh. We're going to stick with D6s, and we're just going to say that it's D6s for everything. So our damage goes from 2d6 plus 10 plus 2d4 plus 10 to 4d6 plus 10. And maybe another d6 when we hit things with our ranger thing, right? So our damage is, I'm just going to recalc it. 4d6 plus 20 plus potentially 1d6 plus 10 plus 5. Yeah, our average damage only goes up by 1 each time. So it's 34 is our average damage in general, and if we can get another creature in that, then it's 40. Then it's 42.5. Not huge, but it's the best that we can get from one of these fighting styles, and it's not bad. Again, if you can argue dueling, then take that with the ranger one, and then take unarmed fighting with the other one, and you'll be dealing a lot more damage, but it shouldn't work. It really shouldn't work. Oh yeah, we could take Primal Knowledge as a barbarian and get one more proficiency. We would do that. We would grab nature. Yeah, I don't know. It's not that great, but we have 8 intelligence. But cool. So we will go and do. Oh yeah, we kind of did the damage report already. Damage report, combat report. 34 if you don't get the extra thing. 42.5 if you get the extra thing from the ranger attack. A little bit less if you don't have key points. Cool. Nothing much has changed except that extra ranger attack is possible and gets us closer to our goal of doing the most attacks, which is cool. That's our level 9. Moving on. Moving toward level 13, where things will get good. Sort of. I think they'll get good at level 14 for us. Yikes. We go to level 2, we get Action Surge. This does bump us quite a bit. However, the claw attack is only once per turn. Once on each of your turns when you attack. And the ranger attack is only once per turn. Each turn when you attack a creature. So our Action Surge only gives us one more attack. But still, our Nova round damage goes up by 1d6 plus 5. Okay. It's something. It's good. It's a lot of attacks. It's a lot of attacks. In total, we're dealing 1, 2, 3 for the ranger, 4, 5 monk, Action Surge 1 more, 6. We're dealing 6 attacks. Can anything else at level 9 do 6 attacks? I don't think so. An Action Surging 5-fighter Gloomstalker? Yes, on their surprise round. Deals 3 and then 3, and then could weaponize a bonus action crossbow expert. So an action surging crossbow expert Gloomstalker is the only thing that has more attacks than us right now, and we'll change that soon. Cool. Okay, well, that's our action surge. We go 3 in fighter. What archetype do we want to pick up? Now, again, there's samurai, but I think we have to go 15th into samurai to get that additional attack when we have advantage. And fighting spirit, sort of like we can grant ourselves advantage on all weapon attacks and get a bunch of temp HP, which is cool. But it sort of conflicts with rage, and the feature, the advantage, conflicts with reckless. We could go battle master and just apply more damage to every single one of those attacks, and that would be pretty sick. We could straight up go champion and just crit a bunch more. Because we're making so many attacks. Now, Cavalier gives us the mark, but we have to use a bonus action on our next turn to make a special melee weapon attack that deals extra damage and stuff, which is cool, but it's limited, and I don't think it works. Now, the creatures do at 10th level provoke an opportunity attack when they move within our reach, which is cool, and we reduce their speed to 0, which is cool. That's all really useful for us and really good, and it might be the best features for us, but the reaction bonus action attack is not good for us. Purple Dragon Knight just kind of sucks. Now, Inspiring Surge, when we action surge, we could choose one creature and give them one melee attack, and maybe we could count that toward our total, but I don't think we really can, right? It's kind of silly. I actually think that I have to turn on Critical Role features right now. Sorry, I do have to turn on Critical Role features because I know what we're going to take. It's the way to make this thing better. It's the only way to make it better. So let me turn it on. Critical Role content, boom. And the reason is for the fighter subclass Echo Knight, right? Yep. Okay. We get our Manifest Echo. You can use a bonus action to magically manifest an echo of yourself in an unoccupied space within 15 feet of us. It is a magical translucent gray image of you that lasts until it is destroyed, until you dismiss it as a bonus action, or until you manifest another echo, or until you're incapacitated. It's got an AC, it's got 1 hit point, it's immune to all conditions. It uses your saving throw bonuses. It's just like you. You can mentally command it to move up to 30 feet without an action. If it's ever more than 30 feet from you, it is destroyed. As a bonus action, you can teleport, magically swapping places with your Echo at the cost of 15 feet of your movement, regardless of the distance between the two of you. Cool. When you take the attack action on your turn, any attack you make with that action can originate from your space or the Echo space. You make this choice for each attack. Now, if your DM is nice, they'll let you use this to extend, to some extent, the range of your Ranger's Flurry extra attack. For our purposes, we won't assume that that's the case, but it doesn't affect it anyway. It is still really cool. And your Echo can make opportunity attacks, but they use your reaction. So we get a shadowy clone of ourselves that can make attacks for us, but more importantly, we get the 3rd level feature, Unleash Incarnation. We get this feature a number of times equal to our Constitution modifier, and we regain all uses when we finish a long rest. We can heighten our Echo's Fury. Whenever you take the attack action, you can make 1 additional melee attack from the Echo's position. So probably we're going to want to put the Echo right next to us, right next to the creature that they're attacking, and right next to the second creature that's being attacked as well, because our action surge gets way better at this level. I'm not going to calc it yet, but we do get a full additional attack when we take the attack action, which means that our damage goes up by 1d6 plus 5. And then when we action surge, we get another attack on top of that, because this doesn't have the once on each of your turns modifier. So we can get another 1d6 plus 5 on top of that. So our total damage goes up by 2 attacks, and we get 2 more attacks. We're now doing 8 attacks. Nice. And we're character level 11, which is just perfect for us to move up to level 13 when we will do our combat report, because at level 4, we will get an ASI, which is so nice. Oh, God. Finally, at character level 12, we get our ASI. This is part of why we went Mountain Dwarf, so we've been able to survive this long, hopefully. We're going to put it all into strength. Oh, more damage on every attack. Oh, amazing. And we get level 5 fighter, so we get extra attack. Finally. Every class we've been in could have gone to level 5 and gotten this feature already, but we finally get it now. We are level 13, and we get a bunch of features. We get Unleash Incarnation, we get extra attack, and we're on fucking line, baby. I mean, we've been online for a while, but our number of attacks is suddenly absurd. Hopefully, we can bonus action get our Echo up before combat. We don't have to concentrate it, so that's our plan. It doesn't have like a limit on how long it's out, so it doesn't last for a minute or whatever. So we should have it out. We're going to assume that we have it out. So we bonus action Rage. We take 1 round of attacks. That 1 round has an additional attack if we use the Unleash Echo if we want to, but our big Nova round is our 2nd round of combat. On this round, we will take the attack action. We will make, I'm just going to tally these. We will make 1 attack with our claws, and then we will make our extra attack with our claws, and then we will make our Path of the Beast attack with our claws, and then we will make 1 attack from our Echo's position with Unleash our Incarnation. Okay? 4 attacks, 1 action. Nice. Then we will action surge. We will make 1 attack with our claws. We will make our extra attack with our claws, and we will Unleash Incarnation to make a 3rd attack from our Echo's position with our Echo's shadowy claws. Then we will bonus action make one unarmed strike, and then we will make a second unarmed strike, and then we are done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 normal attacks. Oh, yeah. Also, hopefully, we got one Ranger's Stalker Flurry, whatever it is called, Horde Breaker. We will make one additional Horde Breaker attack, so we're actually making 9 attacks. We're level 12. A bonus action weaponized Polearm Master Fighter has extra attack 3, so has 3 attacks, and then can make a bonus action attack. So they make 3 D10 attacks, they action surge, they make 3 D10 attacks, and then they make a bonus action attack. Of course, if they're an Echo Knight, they can make another one on each of their action surges. They get one more than us, so that's cool. But still, we're doing pretty well. Our expected damage on this Nova round, I think, is pretty crazy. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, what? So it's only 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then our 2 from the bonus action. Great. And all of them, assuming that you have been able to argue that you should be able to use the D8 for the unarmed strikes, which you might be able to do, and assuming you haven't been able to argue that dueling should work, which it shouldn't, each of them deals a D6 of damage. So that's 9d6 plus 9 times 6. So that's 54 flat damage, and then 31.5 from dice total. Let me know if I fuck that up. So our total is 85.5 damage. All attacks made with advantage, because we can go reckless. That's a lot of attacks. You're going to be critting a lot. You're going to be hitting a lot, and you're going to be critting a lot. It's fucking awesome. It would be great if we could get 1 in Hexblade Warlock and put Hexblade's Curse on somebody and have 1920 to crit and just be like, but it doesn't really factor into getting us more attacks right now. And that's what I want, is more attacks right now. Still, it's pretty fucking cool. It's pretty fucking cool. So 85.5 average damage if everything hits, and with this many attacks, they won't all hit, but they might. You're making attacks with +9 and advantage. I will note that we have no way to deal with magic enemies. Like, we're so fucked if there's an enemy that has magic resistance. We just really need to grapple them, which we should be good at with +14 to athletics and advantage from rage. Or we need to just have a magic short sword that we keep around and just not do a lot of attacks to them and just try our best. That's fine. I don't care. Let's continue on toward higher levels. I think our build gets kind of boring here. I think it gets pretty boring. There's nowhere else to multi-class to. Literally, I don't think all of the classes that we could multi-class to literally don't give us extra attacks at all. So the only thing that we should do, and only thing that we will do, is we will go further into Fighter. And so we're going to do exactly that. We get a level 6 in Fighter, we get an additional ability score improvement, which is awesome. We're going to round out our strength and finish it off. This bumps our total damage by 9 to 94.5, because 1 on every attack, right? Nice. So fucking sick. We go to level 7 in Fighter. We get Echo Avatar. We can see through our Echo's eyes and hear through its ears, kind of like a familiar, which is really cool. And while we're doing that, it can be further away from us. Neat. A nice ribbon. Level 8, another ASI. So, I'm tempted to just bump Khan, because it gives us more Unleash Incarnations per day, which is cool, and it gives us more AC, and it gives us more health. All of these things are very good. Of course, we get a lot of ASIs, so maybe starting to take feats is a good idea. One thing that we could do is we could take Sentinel, and then when we hit creatures with opportunity attacks, that's cool. We get more opportunity attacks even if they disengage, and when a creature hits somebody that isn't us, including our Echo, we can use our reaction to make a melee weapon attack. This would weaponize our reaction really effectively and be really good, but I don't think I'm going to do that. Instead, I'm going to focus on adding to what we've already got. I don't think there are any other feats that give us an extra attack our way. Again, Polearm Master, yada yada, but those don't help us because we're making more attacks as a bonus action with our monk levels. First, we're going to pick up Slasher, and we're going to bump our dexterity. Once per turn, when we hit a creature with an attack that deals slashing damage, we can reduce the speed of the target by 10 feet. Nice. Maybe we can use this with our Echo in order to keep people slowed down away from us, maybe. I don't know. When you score a critical hit that deals slashing damage, you grievously wound it until the start of your next turn. The target has disadvantage on all attack rolls. Fantastic effect. When we're making 9 attacks, if we make them all against a creature, assuming that it survives, we're probably going to crit on one of those. Hopefully, it's one of the ones where we did slashing damage to them. And if it is, then we get, they have disadvantage on all their attack rolls the next turn. Nice. Super good. Also, we bump our dex by 1. Great. And then we hit level 9, taking us to character level 17, when we would do a fighting, a damage calc. We get Indomitable, which is nice. It's not great, but it's nice. Our damage, I already did the calculation for the ASIs that we grabbed. We bumped our strength. That's the only change that we've had. Our total damage goes up by 9 because the strength increases, and we're making 9 attacks, and we're still making 9 attacks. So it's 94.5 at level 17. Which isn't amazing. There are probably ways we could have gotten it better. Obviously, if we could get like Hex on a creature, but we can't because we're raging. But if we could be dealing an extra d6 on every attack, and that's like so much damage. But we can't, so we can't, and that's fine. We could build most of this character without being a barbarian and still make it work and be hexing and stuff and deal the most damage, but that's not what we're going for. We go up to level 10 in Fighter. Boom. Character level 18, we get Shadow Martyr. We can make our Echo use our reaction to teleport the creature in, and it sacrifices itself instead of us. Nice. Unfortunately, we can't use it after the attack roll, so we can't just use this on a crit like Cloud Rune or something, but it's still nice. Level 11. Extra attack. Oh, God. So this is the big thing that we were in here for Fighter for, and we finally got it. We get 2 more attacks in our big Nova round, each one dealing a d6 plus 5. Plus 7 now? Yeah, a d6 plus 7 now. So we add 21 to our Nova E damage, taking us to 115.5. Not too bad for level 19, but also, I mean, it's a lot of attacks, though. And level 12, we get another ability score improvement. It would be great if we had one more, but we don't. In this case, I think I'm going to take the feat Crasha. And then I'm going to put it into our con. We round out our con and our dex by 1. They become odd, which sucks, but whatever. I'm still going to take Crusher because it's really good for us. Assuming that we're still making unarmed strikes, we're dealing bludgeoning damage on a lot of attacks. So now when we hit creatures with an unarmed strike that deals bludgeoning damage, or an attack that deals bludgeoning damage, we can simply move it once per turn, 5 feet to an unoccupied space. Nice. Also, if we crit dealing bludgeoning damage, attack rolls against that creature are made with advantage until the start of your next turn, for free. Lovely. This is really good. So, at level 20, we take... what? 11 attacks now? Nice. We actually exactly equal what a level 20 fighter using Action Surge with a weaponized Polearm Master bonus action would be dealing in terms of attacks. We deal slightly more damage on each of those attacks because we have Rage, and we deal slightly less damage on each of those attacks, 2 average damage less on each of those attacks, and 2 flat damage more on each of those attacks because of Rage, because they're using a polearm. But then we deal a little bit more than a d4 on our unarmed strikes, so it's like kind of the same, but different. And we get those attacks from different ways, and some of them are situational, I know, and some of them are limited use, I know. But still, I think I've succeeded in creating a Furious Flurry of Blows character. Literally with Flurry of Blows. A beast barbarian that claws and grapples and punches and fights and is a whirlwind of death. And can make attacks. Get ready to roll a bunch of these in a row because your DM isn't going to want to sit around and nobody else at your table is going to want to sit around waiting for you to roll all these attacks. But you can make them. You can make a lot of these attacks. And we did succeed in getting a lot of attacks really early in this character's career. And I think that's really cool. I had a lot of fun building this. I hope you had a lot of fun watching it. I think my Dayquil is starting to fade and I'm starting to get worse again. So I'm probably gonna go take more Dayquil and do like nothing for the rest of the day. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry if it's been disgusting to watch me be sick during this. I hope it's been an enjoyable and fun build concept, and I hope you've had fun watching me flesh it out. Catch me on the Patreon or any of the main channel links or the other things in the description. I'll see you there, or I'll see you here the next time I decide to do one of these build videos. Thanks for watching so much. Peace.